This is Dakota News Now.
Good evening, I'm Andrea Anderson.
I'm Brian Allen. With South Dakota's teacher shortage looking slightly more optimistic compared to this same time last year, the conversation over pay is still a big issue.
The state's Teacher Compensation Review Board is in the middle of its biannual meetings, trying to put into numbers where South Dakota sits. Cooper Seymour joins us with our top story here at 6. Cooper, good evening.
Brian and Andrea, even though South Dakota started to catch up to the rest of the region a number of years ago, South Dakota is once again near the bottom of the Midwest for teacher pay. That also includes pay for support staff and overall education funding. While the Blue Ribbon Task Force helped jumpstart South Dakota teacher salaries in 2016, and the state has made progress nationally, it hasn't been enough to get pay on the same level as neighboring states. In the following years, funding increases weren't enough to keep South Dakota competitive.
The investments in education kind of fell flat, as low as I think 0.3% in one of those years. And it made it difficult for the school districts to really keep those salaries moving forward in order to be competitive. Now headed into 2023, the state is once again looking from the bottom up. The numbers that the state's Teacher Compensation Review Board are looking at come from the National Education Association's 2023 Educator Pay Review. South Dakota ranks near the middle of the nation for starting teacher salary at 28th overall, but that starting pay tapers off compared to the rest of the country, with the state only at 49th overall in average teacher salary. Only Mississippi and West Virginia teachers make less on average. That means South Dakota teachers are making less on average compared to every neighboring state, both in salary alone and when adjusted for buying power. And increases from the state legislature don't go directly towards paying staff. Rather, that funding needs to help pay for almost everything a school district needs.
School districts have to take their operational funds out of any percentage too. So there's a few more mouths at that trough anytime there is an increase.
But education advocates do have some hope that things will be moving in the right direction. The Compensation Review Board will be wrapping up its findings this fall, giving them plenty of time to speak with lawmakers on the increased funding measures they'd like to see in the upcoming legislative session.
Even during the last legislative session, we had lots of lawmakers talking about the stories they were hearing from their home districts about not being able to fill positions.
The Teacher Compensation Review Board will be having another meeting coming up on the 21st of this month, with a third meeting in September. The board will then submit its findings to the state legislature and the governor's office before the end of September.